1, 2, 3.
Good evening. The sudden resurgence in anti-mutant activity continued today.
Greetings. That anti-mutant activity has no place here on X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. I am your host, Night Skeller.
No wonder everybody else got smart and took the night off.
Did anyone else hear that ring? It's my co-host.
I've been ringing the doorbell for 25 minutes.
See that face in the darkness.
It's funny. I've started to actually piece out what clips you're going to use for some of these when I'm listening to the episode.
Figure it out, eh?
Not that
You
one.
know
There's another one that I thought you might use for me.
I'd
Maybe
lie
it's for
in bed,
Dave.
I'd see that face in the darkness.
You knew I was seeing your face in the darkness.
Well, that's the best way to see
Anyway.
my. That's the best way to see my face.
We also have a guest.
What do I need to do to show you that I am still one of you?
This guy definitely was the voice of Beastly, right? From Care Bears. It's 100%.
Oh my
yeah.
God! Yeah, absolutely.
You can definitely tell. I remember we established this earlier on, and I forgot about it until this episode. I was like, he's so beastly, it's not even funny. Like every little bit of it.
My
He's the
co-host
beastly-
Andre Bertooth.
The
is
beastly
dead.
laugh.
And our guest, special guest, Marvel comic artist extraordinaire, David Loves Man Kills.
That's
Thank you
right.
for
I
having
see you,
me.
Dave. Welcome to the party. Always a joy to have you here.
Man.
Hello to your cat.
Oh, yeah.
That's Lebowski. He always
Well-
makes an appearance. We have a new little one.
What do I
running
need to do to show you that?
Oh my God! Now I have a glitchy thing. All right.
Lebowski. Oh, look at that one. Hey, buddy, you're a star.
Oh, hey
You kind of
boy.
tell it's a cat.
What a
I
boy.
just got in the door, so he had time to really see me. So he's being a little bit of a suck.
He's like, you're not paying attention. I need snuggles and treats.
Oh man, I'm not feeling great today. I don't know if I ate something earlier, but if I have to disappear, I'll be back.
Oh God.
Well, let's catch up on old times.
What are they up to? What you think they're doing up there?
What you think they doing up there?
It's still one of my favorite Gambit clips. It's just like a bunch of mutants hanging out on an asteroid orbiting Earth. What are they doing up there?
This is our segment, catching up with Cutler. What you been up to over there at Marvel Comics and in your own life, there, Dave?
Of my own life, absolutely nothing. But I'm in an unfortunate space where I can't. I have like two things coming out, but I can't talk about either.
Oh my!
Because
one
they're too
is a,
controversial.
One's a digital thing for Marvel Infinite, I think is the one the comics they do on their app. Not a lot of people in Canada have the Marvel Unlimited app. I do, but it's like it's so annoying to get the notification every month that you've been charging American funds. Like you get a warning basically.
Oh,
Because
really?
They don't have it set up like you can't pay in Canadian or whatever. Like for
Really? Even the Amazon like comic app or any of those ones can't do it? Like the connection?
I mean, I guess Comixology can. Yeah, I mean, certainly it can because it's through Amazon. But Marvel's Unlimited app is the only place you can get their Toon Boom style comics or the Toon whatever style comics, the ones that scroll.
Oh, the full,
downwards.
yeah.
So I'm doing a 6-part one of those, or I've done it. It's done, but it hasn't been announced yet. That should be out maybe the last week of April or first week of May.
Oh, awesome.
First one should come out, and then after that, I have like a one shot, which is going to be pretty cool. But I literally just got that, so it probably won't be solicited for a couple months.
Oh man, that's awesome.
One-shots
Very
are fun.
exciting.
Do you like one shots?
No,
Or would you rather like get into it?
I mean I do.
No, this is sad. Like no.
Just at this point, I would rather like be getting more work in a row, kind of like just so I could have a trade and be like, this is me, and not like I am one of like 100 guys in this trade. But whatever, we'll get there. Let's hope.
We'd like to see you drawing Marauders. I think you'd be a good Marauders artist, Dave.
They just canceled it actually.
I'll bring it back.
Dave just got hired for the Marauders. Oh shit!
It was like today or yesterday. I heard that the issue 10 is the
no.
last issue.
What if I would like to see a Micronauts Dave comic? That'd be awesome.
I've never read Micronauts. I don't. I know. Yeah, like you think, because I love Michael Bolton, but I've never. I've seen like pages in the artist editions and stuff, but I've never actually sat down and read Micronauts.
I have the whole series actually. When the local comic store was closed, or like they had their dollar bins, they had almost the entire run in the bin. So I got most of it, and then I just picked up a few scattered ones I needed.
Was that a place that I would know, that comic shop?
Yeah, it was Gamezilla, and then they became the stomping grounds for a while, and then when somebody else bought it, and then they closed up. Sold everything to some outfit in Montreal. That was a while ago. I get all my stuff from Strange Adventures now.
Very sad.
Yeah, Toronto's devoid of a comic shop. I wish we had something. It'd be nice.
Sad times in the Maritimes.
That's right. That's right. Dave's missing it. I can tell. I can see him. I can see him missing Nova Scotia so much. Look at him.
Exactly.
Look at him pining for the shores.
I do miss it. I think about moving back all the time, but doesn't happen. Yeah.
Come back to Truro. We miss you. You can
come back to Truro.
Your job at Subway is probably still waiting for you.
No, is that Subway still there?
Yeah, it is still there. Actually,
sales pitch.
I'm sure. Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about being a comic artist or writer or anything you can do to anywhere really. So there's a lot of comic people out here. Ed Brisson and oh god, he's on my show. Jed McKay both live out here.
I knew Ed did.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we are here to review season 4, episode 14, Bloodlines, written by next week's guest of the show, Len Yulee. That'll be fun.
Lenny Yulee.
Yeah. And,
yes. So he's only written the two. Did he just write? He's only written the 2 Nightcrawler episodes, and that's it.
And the Iceman.
Right. Okay.
Dave was a guest on our podcast about that one as well.
That is true. And we did just recently, Dave, have sort of a follow-up to that one with the Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver being the children of Magneto episode. Which is funny that that was 2 episodes ago? That was last episode. So there's 2 episodes in a row of surprise who your real parents are kind of thing. Which is funny because now that we're back to the intended order that they had done this when they had set up the whole sort of series.
Isn't it 3? Because the Corsair Cyclops episode comes around now, doesn't it?
Not in the normal writing.
A while ago.
Oh, okay.
We're doing this in the Disney Plus, which is supposed to be back to the right order of how the episodes go, and that was way back in the start of the season, I believe. So, yeah, but it is this season too, which is funny because at least we're getting some payoff on some of these threads here, which is fun. Because we did see we didn't know that Mystique was Nightcrawler's mom because of the flashback sequence when in the previous episode, but this is where everybody gets to find that out. So
previously on X-Men.
I have lost her twice now. You don't know. None of you will ever know.
Bye, my friend.
A little known fact about Magneto secret other mutant power. He's incredibly dramatic. That is one of his mutant powers. You won't know. None of you will know. Nobody's ever lost anything. Not like me. Exactly. No, I'm going to fly into the sky, into a storm of electricity. Goodbye.
Speak to me about loss. Doesn't he say that episode? As well?
Yeah, Xavier, who's lost pretty much everybody's ever loved. And they're like, you don't know anything about loss. Fuck you, Xavier. I have to go destroy the planet now. Anyway, yeah, so am I picking up now? We going? Bloodlines?
Yep. Pick her up.
All right. So
Bloodlines.
we start with a news anchor talking about how there's been a recent uptick in mutant hatred. Seems that we haven't really seen anything in a while about humans being shitty towards mutants because all their adventures have sort of been cosmic up until a point of the start of the season and then on to some other stuff. But we do see a recent, including a pizza place, that is a sign in the window that just says "Mutants Welcome," that just bursts into flames. Like someone blows it right to hell. They're like, no mutants eating pizza in my place. They cut to a Senate hearing in which Graydon Creed came out of hiding to who we have seen before as the leader of the Friends.
While I deny any involvement in these actions, patriotic human beings everywhere support vigilant efforts to remove the mutant blight.
That could be Donald Trump, man. That could be Donald Trump. This episode,
I had nothing to do with
like,
this. I support it entirely.
He said stuff like that though. Like, I didn't egg this on whatsoever. Like, I had nothing to do with this. But
people are saying it. You know?
It is
a lot of
awesome
smart people are saying mutants are the problem, not me. A lot of smart people, other people. Only I can control them. Only I can solve this problem.
This whole opening is like really prescient for the headlines.
Alarmingly so, because I like obviously this is supposed to ape McCarthy era stuff, but also like Nazism stuff from back in the day.
Did you see in the 90s? The thing from Florida, like yesterday, I don't know if he's a senator or a governor, but the guy he's the
governor.
Yeah, and he compares like trans people to mutants, like X-Men mutants. He no. Hold on, I want to get the guy's name just because he's so fucking ridiculous that he should.
No, it's not him. Apparently, he's only worried about gay people in Disney World. That's what DeSantis seems worried about.
And guns.
And guns and Trump, because they're like not neck and neck, but they're both running for the Republican.
Okay, he's Representative Barnaby. I don't have a first name.
Yeah.
But he specifically invokes the X-Men. He was thinking about Marvel Comics X-Men and mutants, and that trans people are like mutants. And you're like, is this Republican going to have like a moment where he's like, I'm the bad guy? But he's like, no, I'm the bad guy. I want to be the bad guy. Fuck these people. And he doubles down. It's insane. It's pure insanity.
Jesus Christ.
You're saying trans people are like the X-Men. I think that's a compliment.
Maybe that's what it sounds like at first, but then he's like, we have people living among us who want to be mutants. So this is planet Earth. Let's kill them all.
Oh my. Jeez.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Just watching that today, I was like, man, nothing ever changes. Sometimes you hear like the X-Men are a dated metaphor. They say that next X-Men too.
Not.
Because there'll always be some outgroup, man. There's always somebody that somebody wants to step on the neck of.
Yeah, and brought the stain of Sabretooth into our lives.
I love this secret council. So we cut to Graydon Creed just to keep us on track with that. We're going through the episode. Graydon Creed talking to the Senate, saying very similar, like, although I didn't do any of the violence, we do have to get rid of the mutants. And then we cut to him approaching the Friends of Humanity, who seem to have gotten a big budget upgrade from last time we saw them. They have a pretty stonecutter style secret hall somewhere with a giant logo on the wall. You know what's funny to me as like a guy that works in the sign industry is that like they have the secret hall with their logo plastered all over the walls. They would have had to get like a sign guy to put that up. And they're just like, yeah, we like to order a giant Friends of Humanity sign, probably about 20 feet by 12 feet, put it on the wall. Install that on Tuesday.
The sign industry's compromised, man.
That's true. It could be.
It's like it interests you in your local anti-mutant concern.
And we see that they also had yeah, that's true. We see that they along with a great new meeting hall, they also got an upgrade in their costumes. As we see, their outfits got an uptick as their drip is getting pretty intense. As we can see, they now have hoods that seem to indicate to just knock you over the head with the KKK sort of analog, but also with a very, I don't remember the Friends of Humanity having this. Was this logo was prominent before? The
cutter thing?
I think it was, but I just don't remember seeing it as much as I've seen in this episode. Which
there's
obviously
a lot of just FOH in the other one.
Yeah, but this one they had the big sort of eagle behind them, which is obviously reminiscent of Nazism and stuff back in the day as well. So we see the council. There are all these besuited people wearing these blue hoods with the Friends of Humanity logo. And the logo, like as a graphic designer, it kind of offends me because they have them like all on the top of their hoods, and it's not a great design for a logo for an evil organization. The letters are far too large, just far too large.
They are wearing it in the earlier episodes. Like he has it as an armband and the
right. Yeah, no, Creed does have as an armband in this episode still.
Yeah, you don't see it like they don't have the production budget.
No, these guys got quite like the table, like the fancy table, all the hoods, the big like the logo. They have like an amphitheater built somewhere secretly. But anyway, Creed comes before them to they invite him back basically, and like, oh, our beloved leader returns, or the person who started this, and then they immediately go into like shitting all over him for bringing Sabretooth, for casting darkness upon their organization by obviously being related to Sabretooth, as it came out in the previous episode. He's the son of Sabretooth, as we know. So basically, he says
think of a worse father figure, really. Like,
especially at the end of this episode, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Was he raised by him?
I mean,
no.
He must have been. There's
but he has his last name, right?
But they even at the end, he recognizes him as
they know each other.
Yeah, they know each other, and
maybe
he must have had a hand in raising him. Obviously, it was just funny, and we'll get to how ridiculous that end is. I did really like it, but I think it's pretty funny. So anyway, he basically says, "Look, I've tortured myself enough. I'm ashamed and horrified by this, and I didn't want anyone to find out." And blah blah blah. But he also kind of rallies against them, saying he created this organization, and they're, this is treason because they're not listening to his, his rule. So anyway, they show him evidence that it's not just Creed that is the poison, the mutant stain that's upon him, and they give him an envelope, and he reads some names we don't see yet, and then they say they'll give him a chance to redeem himself by he actually says, doesn't he, that he will redeem himself by bringing all of these names into getting rid of them basically for the Friends of Humanity. And they're like, we're listening. I also love when they throw the envelope at him. It just says Creed family heritage in big words on the envelope. like they're just really good at they just have a great filing system, the Friends of Humanity. So anyway, then we cut to the X Mansion. I mean, obviously Creed is horrified to find out that he has more connections to mutant than just Sabretooth. But anyhow, we cut to the X Mansion, which shows 3 children dressed up as delightful Marvel characters.
It's Halloween.
It is. We do see a pumpkin.
I choose Trick.
There's Wolverine horrifying children. So Wolverine greets the kids at the door with a beast mask, and they are scared and run away. Which is funny because they're going to knock on the door of the X Mansion, so they must know that there are mutants inside, right? I'd assume they don't really hide that they're there. Xavier is well known on TV talking at the Senate about being mutants' rights, and the X-Men are shown on TV.
Yeah, but he never
saving the world. The world.
Yeah, he never says that he's associated with the X-Men though.
No.
He always I run a school. ... He doesn't.
He's a mutant advocate, basically.
I know, in X-Men continuity at this time in the comics, it was a secret that it was a mutant school.
But when Beast was on trial for in the whole first season, they must have made connections there that he was worked at Xavier's school.
But also must be when they mass produce Beast masks.
Yeah, I guess so. Trial of the century.
Beast
Get your Beast mask here.
Using his face to give them nightmares.
Isn't that what Halloween's all about?
No.
The alternative is Wolverine sitting in his bedroom, lovingly making that thing, flocking the fur into the mask.
That's just scary.
Do we want to save what the kids are dressed as for next point, Davan, or do you want to talk about it now?
If it's one of your X points, save it. If not,
all right. It doesn't have to be, but I'll save it. No, screw it. I think we split it up with Dave too, right? So
I don't have any X points. What are you doing?
All right, I'll save it then. So the kids run away, and then we had that little interlude between Wolverine and Jubilee. She chastised him for being mean to the kids, and Wolverine has another poignant. Wolverine's pretty emo this season. He's got a lot of these walk off and be sad about everything kind of motif going this year.
He hates every holiday.
Yeah, he really does.
Around dressed as demons and mutants.
And he's they get to take off the costumes and go back to their normal lives. What are we going to do? And it's still be mutants.
It's the same. Bunch of brats run around dressed like monsters and mutants. Everybody says, how cute.
How cute. Anyway, there's a knock at the door. Jubilee is going to go give the kids candies and then is scared by the appearance of Nightcrawler, who wore a tie.
Nightcrawler. Wolverine, please. I need your help.
I love how. Do you have the picture of when he shows up? He's wearing the standard.
His hand.
Oh yeah, he's wearing the standard Ben Grimm
Ninja Turtles trench coat.
Yeah, he's wearing the standard Ben Grimm / Raphael Ninja Turtles trench coat, but he's also wearing a suit and tie underneath. So it's is this part of the disguise? Because the glowing blue face is going to be a dead giveaway.
Well, it's just
maybe he just likes to travel in style. Who knows? But anywho, we come to learn very quickly they apparently go get Rogue to assist them in whatever's going on because the rest of the X-Men. This is a really Cyclops is in like 3 episodes this season, and that's it.
Yeah.
We have not seen him or Jean Grey in a long time.
And they're weirdly like those are like Cyclops solo episodes too, more or less, aren't they?
There's the one with the town with that new guy that was a friend of Xavier's we just found out about. And then there was whatever the opening of this season was, the 4-parter. He's not even a one man's worth.
Juggernaut.
Right. Yeah, the seasons I'm looking at here are all messed up. But yeah, so
Not much.
no, the
Some leader of the X-Men.
Yeah, not very much at all, in fact. But so we basically find out that Nightcrawler got a letter from his birth mother saying that she needs his help. And you can tell it's from his birth mother because in the writing of the note that was left when they found him. So you can tell it's the same person. So basically, he needs the X-Men's help. He's supposed to meet her alone, but the X-Men say they'll go with him, basically. And there's a funny little bit of foreshadowing here. Do you have this little line between Rogue and Jubilee about Nightcrawler looking like Beast?
Well, you come to the right place, honey. Yeah, we've tangled with just about every jerk around.
That's one I got.
She's right. But no, at one point when they leave, Jubilee says, he looks a lot like Beast. Maybe they're related. And Rogue laughs.
Oh,
and
I do
says,
have that. Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, and Rogue laughs and says, honey, that's as likely as me and him being related. Which is, a little bit of foreshadowing, a little bit. As, the rest of us probably already knows. We've seen, the previous episode know that Mystique obviously was. Anyway, so the X-Men run off with them, with Nightcrawler, to the location that was given to him, some secretive base in a place that looks an awful lot like the secret base they go to at the end of X-Men 2. But on the way, we see Nightcrawler proselytizing the Bible, the Jubilee bit here, about how it's funny because it just always seems in the show whenever he's talking about the Bible or God or forgiveness or God's forgiveness or any of these sort of things, it's like no one's ever heard this before. Like they always seem like this religion thing's pretty heavy. Is like Jubilee says at no point in her life. I mean, maybe if she's raised, she's in foster homes, right, or adopted in the start of the series. So I was going to say maybe being an Asian American, she doesn't have as much of the Catholic thing, but. Yeah, so it's just funny. Same with Wolverine and some other people. It's almost like they never heard anything about religion before. I know in modern day it's not quite so common to see it on the street or whatever, but back in the 90s,
Wolverine grew up in a Christian world.
That's true. Yeah,
his pants in a twist over a blue-faced monk.
So yeah, Jubilee basically reaches out, wants to connects with him because she too is sort of an orphan and was raised by adopted or foster family. And
I used to feel like I didn't belong anywhere.
We all feel like that sometimes. Friends can help, but in our times of loneliness, we forget that we are all part of a greater family.
Dave's eyes almost rolled out of his head.
He introduces me so fast. I love this episode actually.
So do I, but it's funny because there's something to do with the calmness of his voice and the way he talks. It's almost
he sounds
soothing.
like a cult leader. Humans are incapable of dealing with sadness on their own, but I've got this magic book. I don't fuck it. I don't know. As an agnostic, I do I don't know. And the show is
episode 2.
Really influential.
It's just not the Nightcrawler we want. We want the Nightcrawler who's
but this was the Nightcrawler we got
afterwards.
In the movies, this is the Nightcrawler we got.
Oh yeah.
In the comics going forward, this became
run,
his one note.
The
Austin run.
Was he always kind of when he first appeared, he had the religious bent to him.
Yeah, right? It was his thing, the way that Colossus is a tank, but he has the heart of an artist. He's always painting and stuff. He was a Christian and he prayed, but it wasn't his life's.
Oh, so it wasn't his thing, his big thing.
He liked sword fighting probably more.
Yeah, he liked sword fighting, Errol Flynn movies. He loved classic cinema. He had all these facets that fell away after these.
I like Nightcrawler a lot better. I like that Nightcrawler a lot better.
Yes,
I like Nightcrawler. Always have.
I even like him in this episode a lot more than in the other one. But I actually love him in this episode.
I do find
as an agnostic, I find the religion stuff hard to swallow. But
this religion stuff is intense.
Yeah, like we noticed that the next few episodes, like Jubilee starts painting her face blue and like just like wearing red robes that look like his, starts like proselytizing other people as well. I don't want to like shit on it. I get it. Like I'm an atheist. I mean, it's whatever, but it's just sort of like the idea that like it's just so jarring, I guess, in modern society like ours now with fiction, to see a main character who's a hero doing this. It's not something you would see in fiction really at all right now. You certainly wouldn't see, if you see a character that is like quoting the Bible or trying to like talk about forgiveness and all this Bible stuff, usually they're a bad guy, like in modern stuff. And usually there's just another way to show how extreme they are. Most recently in what's the Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
Yeah. Jen and I just watched the whole season last week. So, but yeah, it's like, this greater good.
In.
How many are you in?
4 or 5.
Oh, nice. It's a great show. I'm really digging it.
Good show.
But yeah, it's strange to see a good guy talking about God as much as he does in these episodes and just be like a normal part of the character. He's also a giant Bible that he's carrying around all the time. Like, where does he hide that in his costume? Anyway, we see them
it away.
Oh, that's true. He has a pocket dimension just for that Bible. The Bible dimension. he has a bunch of them. He just hands them out. He's like one of the Gideons, He's like, yeah, Bibles for all. So they find the place, which is a dam, undisclosed. It does remind me a lot of the end of X-Men too. It's like literally the layout of the dam and the scenery around it and everything is very similar. So it is.
Plus the Nightcrawler religion stuff. I wonder if this is one of the things that they watched when they were like, we have to write an X-Men movie.
It very well could be.
Put this Nightcrawler character in the
movie.
I
mean, the bad guy in that one was, Stryker, who is their version of Stryker, who is almost a friend of humanity, like hated humans. So
in the comics, he was like the evil preacher.
Yeah, so there's that side of things too. But anyway, Nightcrawler's getting wary because he's worried that the other X-Men might, he's told to come alone. So
I wish to thank you for what you and the others are doing.
Don't worry about it, Kurt. I owe you. And besides, I take on these lowlifes for nothing.
This is a pretty great Wolverine episode. I also love how he met him once in Germany, 4 episodes ago, and he's like the bestest friend in the world. I got your back, Kurt. I'll walk into the fires of hell for you.
I like to think that they would send letters.
Oh, maybe so. Wolverine didn't seem to have a profound effect on Wolverine as he was like praying afterwards.
Yeah, Wolverine's found God or whatever. So I mean, he's really changed his life.
Wouldn't it be great if he was wearing
for
a
me
cross?
Because they're big buddies in the comics.
Yeah,
and I love their friendship a lot in the comics. It's pretty great.
Wolverine's like wearing a cross now. Like he's I believe it was the prophet Jehovah that said, and he just starts talking.
It was the prophet Wagner who said.
Yeah, they go to break into the mansion basically, or into the mansion, into the dam. Jubilee knocks on the door, and then the other X-Men assist in getting in there. Usually, Kurt using his teleportation powers to mess things up as they sneak into the base.
Well, as Jubilee said, it's basically a mansion.
Look at all this stuff! These guys must have got a new credit card.
Yeah,
the way she says it is like she thinks she's dropping a reference or something. These guys must have got a new credit card.
Those were new back then.
Credit cards.
That's true. I guess they weren't quite as. I mean, they were pretty rampant in the 90s.
Oh yeah, but just the way she reads the line is very strange.
Well, it's funny. It's in relation to the fact that they have they walk into a room and there's all these weapons everywhere. Conveniently, all of the boxes are all labeled grenades, blasters, munitions, ammo. like I said, very great filing system at the Friends of Humanity. They really know. They really got all their ducks in a row here. So as they're sort of seeking out the place, they pass by a door where Kurt hears a woman's voice calling out to him for help. They split up. So Wolverine and Jubilee are investigating this munitions area. Kurt and Rogue are one of the halls. They hear a voice.
Whatever they call themselves.
The what?
Wolverine's like, Jubes, me and you are diversion squad or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah, they run off, which is like, what? This is like, it's a pretty big dam. Like, we're just going to cause a diversion over here. And they don't even know where she is. So, like, wherever they're diversioning could be where she's at. Anyway. So as this woman calls out for help, Kurt opens the door to find out who it is. It's revealed to be Mystique. Rogue, of course, is surprised to see Mystique. Mystique is surprised to see Rogue. Then a trapdoor drops down behind them, trapping them in the room. Mystique says that the Friends of Humanity only wanted Kurt, not Rogue, and that she's going to.
I adopted Rogue when she was a young child, but before that, I bore 2 children. One of them was you,
And the other, I am sickened to admit, was me.
Creed is a pretty great villain, I gotta say.
Oh yeah,
the voice.
He's like lost his
fantastic.
marbles in this one. He's a lot of fun.
It was bad enough to find out that Sabretooth is my father.
But then to learn that these freaks are what's left of my family.
It was enough to drive me mad.
He would really run for Senate in Florida, man, because he would do well.
He's fun. That's hilarious.
It's bad is good to us.
But it's true. Like he is consummately, like they do have him kind of off at, like, being outed as Sabretooth's son really drove him off the cliff. And I guess the further information that he's related to Nightcrawler and Mystique's mother.
He's foaming at the mouth. Like,
yeah, he's literally just gone utterly
There's got to be
insane.
some element of jealousy too, because I think he must be the only example of like 2 mutant parents having a non-mutant kid. It's weird. Like, I don't
in the
think
comics, is Mystique his mother as well?
Oh, that's a good question. That's one of those things that I've always assumed, because the show like puts stuff in your brain.
Yeah, do you know this, Davan?
I believe they have confirmed it in recent years.
In the comics as well?
Yeah.
See if I can find this out quickly on the internet. Death, seduced. Yeah, German spy Lenny Zauber, Mystique, seduced freelance assassin Victor Creed while he was in Germany on a mission, and she gave birth to a normal human child, Graydon, who she gave up for adoption.
One of those things that doesn't work with the sliding timeline anymore.
When he's in Germany.
Like, it makes sense that Mystique and Sabretooth were alive back then, but why shouldn't he be like 80?
Maybe he is a mutant and he just has magical aging.
Just doesn't realize.
You mean, I was kind of wondering if they would go that road in this episode, because I don't remember watching this episode. We've gone into the territory where I probably haven't seen any of these mostly. So,
look at all this stuff.
Don't mind me.
It's a running gag on the show, Dave. That
embarrassment of riches.
Look at all this stuff, which is like weapons, ammunition.
Yeah.
So Mystique explains that she gave birth to him and another child who just revealed his creed, which as he played, he's kind of lost his marbles. He's gone a bit crazy. He wants to kill all of them. He starts gassing the room.
How could you hand over your own son to a bunch of mutant haters?
I did it for you, darling. You know you were always my favorite.
Which is rough to say in front of the other 2 that are right there in front of you.
Well, she only just found out there were other kids, so I mean, how could you know that she was her favorite?
Fair enough. No, but I mean, like, the other kids are in the room, like Nightcrawler.
Perfect for treating tap water or eliminating unwanted relatives.
So is he gassing with fluoride? I guess that's to explain why they're in a dam, I suppose. I don't really understand what the purpose of that line was, but I guess the gas that they're gassing them with purifies tap water, or is for tap water, but also can knock out these mutants or kill them.
Oh no, so it's probably chlorine gas.
Yeah, anything that takes the place of air is going to kill you. So,
I suppose. Is that true? Everything? Helium? Yeah, Will helium kill me?
If that's all you're breathing, yeah, it's poisonous. It'll kill you.
So I should stop breathing massive amounts of helium.
It's not good for you at all. It's
drug.
Stop doing that.
Anyway, the next episode. Just thud. You see a balloon just float up behind me. Actually, there's like a helium shortage. I went to something a while ago where they used to have, as a fundraiser, they used to give you balloons to pop, but they didn't have that this year because there was a helium shortage.
Well, I heard the shortage is over.
Is it?
So maybe it's this.
Did they find more helium?
There's a way to manufacture helium, I'm pretty sure.
It's always funny. I don't know. There's all these things that, like, as a human, I guess you've all come to this realization. But like, there are all these things happening in the world that we have no idea how, why, or when, or where. They're like, where? I don't even know where. Do you mine helium? Where does it come from?
It comes, well, most helium anyway comes the same way as other natural gases. It's like a byproduct of drilling for oil. Like it just gets released. I don't know how they separate it and stuff like that, but yeah, some science YouTube thing was telling me that the shortage is over.
No, that's good. We can get helium balloons again.
Yeah,
Pennywise is back in action. He's he's just ordering, like, he can't kill kids for a while because he can't get his red balloons to float around.
Look at all this stuff.
Is that the new one we're going to get for the next 6 episodes, Davan?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, Nightcrawler teleports into the control center and gets into a bit of fisticuffs with Victor Creed, who holds his own fairly well, or Graydon Creed, who holds his own rather well against a mutant. Like, he's just a human, but he's doing a human in a red suit, I mind you.
Nightcrawler's not a trained fighter in this show. Though.
And Creed's mother, too. Boy, talk about your soap operas.
I gotta say, I really do love. Like, I've always loved Nightcrawler's design, but I love the way they animate him. And the animation in this episode is very good. It's definitely the A team. As we differentiate the A team of animators and the B team.
Yeah, well, this might be one of the final really nicely animated episodes.
I would say we're getting close to it. I know we're getting to that sad point where the show takes a quite stark dip in quality. I believe season 5, like at the end of season 4, is that big 4-part crossover time travel thing, right? And that was pretty cool, I think. So.
It's
Good versus evil or something like that.
On, Beyond Good and Evil.
Beyond Good and Evil, yeah. And which Cyclops is finally in again. So, they get in a big fight up top. Jubilee and Wolverine bust in with Wolverine's claws to rescue them. Creed manages to sort of... or Nightcrawler leads Creed up there and takes off. Mystique disappears. We find out she took the form of one of the Friends of Humanity and sends them in the opposite direction. So she's trying to escape. As the X-Men are trying to escape, they're being attacked by the Friends of Humanity. Nightcrawler's kind of pursuing Mystique. He still wants answers as to why she abandoned him, essentially. But as the X-Men try to escape, they're being shot at by the Friends, and Rogue takes a hit. And the two of them are shooting back and forth, hiding behind a truck. Mystique runs off along the top of the dam to get away. Nightcrawler pursues her, and we see Graydon Creed hop into a helicopter to pursue them.
Human bad guys who always have to fight like super-powered heroes always have helicopters.
It's funny because I was talking to my brother about this because we're talking about the book The Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad and how they made it to the movie Apocalypse Now, and how the end of Apocalypse Now was supposed to be like a big actual huge fight, which would have accumulated in like what was it, Colonel Kurtz, is that his name in the movie? Brando's character. Kurtz like fighting like in a helicopter, which would have been a big firefight in the village and all this stuff. But then I guess like Brando done a movie like a year or half a year before that where he was all shredded and stuff. And they want him to play this crazy military guy. He was all jacked. And then when Brando showed up, he was like fat Brando, who didn't want to do anything. So they basically had to rewrite the whole ending of the movie and get what they got. But that whole end of that movie should have been this massive like helicopter firefight in the jungle. So Nightcrawler finally gets a chance to, he catches up with Mystique using his powers, and she explains his whole origin story. And we come to find out that she has been many women over many years, and she takes the forms of a bunch of them. Oh, yeah.
I have been many women in my time, some rich, some poor. Rich, I find, is preferable.
Like, who's gonna say poor is? Who's gonna? You know what? Poor was better. You know, you ate craft dinner. You didn't get to go to a lot of shows or anything.
I think Nightcrawler has a vow of poverty, probably, so she's trying to make him feel better. Maybe
it's a good time. It's like nothing you can do. There's a lot of things you can do when you're poor that the rich can do. When you're rich, you can do everything the rich can do and the poor can do. So why would being poor be better? Anyway. We find out she married some German count, as it were. Austrian count, sorry. She said he wasn't much to look at, but he had money. So, he
looks fine to me.
Yeah, he looks fine. He's got a little mustache. He's got a little mustache and a monocle, but he looks pretty much
certainly better looking than Sabretooth.
No, Azrael.
That's true. Who I guess is Nightcrawler's dad in the comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So... basically, so this guy, everything was going good. She was pretending to be, his wife until she got her pregnant and she gave birth to a mutant baby. And so she couldn't hide her mutant him anymore. the mutant being Nightcrawler, of course. So she being sort of shunned and trying to I guess like it's kind of vague. It seems like they were chasing after her anyway. They knew she was a mutant, so I don't know why she gave him up. But you see,
I guess because like he would always be like an albatross around her neck.
That's true. She'd have to raise him, and she couldn't hide.
Slip off somewhere else and be some other person. But with this thing, like, and it's also funny that she gets to the edge of the cliff, and then it's like a real like Simpsons Mr. Black moment. It's like, yeah. So I ran to the edge of the cliff, and I abandoned you safely.
Look at all this stuff. I am a shapeshifter, an outcast, even among mutants trusted by no one.
I mean, maybe if you tried.
This one's for you, Dave.
I will beg God to bestow his grace on me, so that I may learn to forgive you.
I like this moment a lot. See,
Then
my
I
problem
will
is
ask
that
him
Nightcrawler
to
is
bestow
religious.
his grace on you,
It's that he doesn't
so
say,
that you might forgive yourself.
I do this to cope.
Yeah.
He says everyone needs to do this to cope.
Yeah,
And the problem
agreed.
in your life is you
He's
aren't
a bit of a salesman.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. But that part there, that's a good. He's like hit his limit is the crazy thing. Like he's like, right now I don't have it in me to forgive you, but I
want to pray that
God
God will give me the strength to let me forgive you and give you the strength to forgive yourself. Which actually is like as far as emotional and intelligence goes, he's probably one of the smartest people around. It's sad that religion's what's boiling it up, but everything he says, it's not reactionary. It's him internalizing or knowing his own emotions and dealing with them. Yeah, in like a way that works for him, but also like not just saying like you abandoned me, I hate you. He's like, I can't forgive you right now, but I'm going to pray that I will be someday, and you'll forgive yourself. Which is like, like I said, it's. If religion's not for you, at least it's a nice moment for that. So she basically doesn't take this super well because, that she has that whole thing about how she's a shape changer and that nobody will trust her and that, she has a rough go. But then when he hits her with that I'll try to forgive you thing, she has a moment where she sort of feels bad about where she is in life. And he doesn't really say it, but you can see it on her face. So basically, as the other X-Men are trying to get away, they're trying to lure the other helicopters away from where Kurt and Mystique are. And while that's going on, our old buddy Graydon Creed in his own little personal helicopter comes up upon the tower with them in it. And instead of using the large guns that are attached to the helicopter, he rolls down his window and takes a shot with a pistol at the two of them. Mystique pushes Nightcrawler out of the way, showing she has somewhat redeemed herself a little bit in caring for him. Takes a shot to the shoulder.
Lasers, or did it actually shoot a
bullet?
bullet?
No, it was lasers. They don't shoot guns here.
Okay, yeah.
That's why the gun.
The one that hits Rogue makes like a sound effect, but it's still a laser.
Yeah. And even when Nightcrawler and Mystique are like talking, there's like a sunrise behind them. It's all getting kind of nice. But then Graydon shows up, starts shooting. Mystique pushes Nightcrawler out of the way, takes one to the shoulder. And we see in the flashback when she was going to throw him down the water precipice, she was crying, so she obviously had emotions about doing this, although not enough to stop her from doing it. So yeah, she falls off the cliff.
Yeah, well, she goes over the dams. Just it's like she goes over the waterfall basically. Yeah.
But like
good,
he was
good stuff.
Wasn't he in a basket like when they found him in the previous one? He just washed up on the shore, and the gypsies took him in the circus.
I think all abandoned babies manifest a basket before you find it.
But she's literally, there's no basket. She's just holding him over her head in like swaddled clothes. It was like, goodbye. You don't see her throw it, but I didn't see a basket. I mean, I think putting a baby in a basket gives at least a better chance than hopefully this baby knows how to swim. So, he actually kind of, as you mentioned, him hitting his limit, he sort of really does here because his mom goes over the falls after she gets hit. Then Creed shoots a missile at Nightcrawler, who teleports into the teleports out of the way. And then the missile, which is funny because if he hadn't, like Creed just flies in front of the dam, shoots a missile straight into Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler teleports out of the way, the missile hits the dam, and then all the water that comes through the hole he makes just bombards the helicopter that he's in and then slams it down into the water. So even if he had hit Nightcrawler, the outcome for him would have been the same.
I think it was like we're both going down kind of like he.
Yep.
He's gone crazy enough in this episode that I don't think he's like thinking about self-preservation.
No,
probably not. Well, actually, the whole impetus for this was to get back in with the Friends of Humanity by killing his family for them. So there's part of that, but you're right. He is maybe all the revelations and all the stuff with Mystique and all that would have put him right
Now
off.
they arrest those guys, not for attacking mutants, but for blowing up a dam.
Also, and they were hiding out in the dam. Like they had a bunch of stuff there. They were there for a while.
Yeah, they were amassing like weapons.
Yeah, they were like a well-armed militia that was not backed by the government. So, I'm sure they didn't have licenses for all those guns.
It's one of those like I'm of two minds.
Look at all this stuff.
I'm of two minds about that because it is kind of like that. What do the authorities really care about? It's property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
that
at the
is
same
true.
time, it's like a dam is a serious bit of property.
Yeah, I mean, it's either protecting like life or environment areas, and also usually powering places, and like so
many people probably died downstream when that flood.
Whole village, you don't see that. The whole village is wiped out. So
basically the entire village was populated by the Friends of Humanity, and nobody cared.
Oh, it's just their families, just their wives and kids. No, they're guilty by proxy. That's fine. Let them be dead. So we get that moment with Jubilee and Wolverine. They ask if they'd found Mystique. They haven't. But we do see her crawl out of the water behind them. It's funny. She's only like 20 feet behind them. They're just like, we'll never know what happened to her. And you could just like, if you heard, you should have been able to hear her walking in the water.
She could have turned into a fish.
That's true, but she doesn't. She comes out of the water in full form. But we see her crying, so she obviously is bothered by having to give up her kids and everything she's done, which is nice. But then we cut to they say no sign of Creed either, and they're hoping that's the last they see of him. And then we cut to what is quite possibly one of the funnest endings I've ever seen to an episode.
Oh yeah,
in which he's tied up in a plane, and we see those other heads of the Friends of Humanity wearing their hoods, saying like, welcome back to the land of the living. And they're like, you didn't get the job done, so because it's all because you wouldn't take care of a problem that we're going to force you to take care of now, basically. And then just kick him out of a plane, which activates his parachute, and then he lands.
Ever.
Yeah, and then he lands outside of a log cabin somewhere in it looks like the desert, maybe, based on what we're seeing here. And we reveal that the person standing on the deck watching him descend is, of course, Sabretooth, who recognizes him as his son.
Cabin in the desert, but anyway.
Well, it's not log, actually. It's just wood. I can see it better.
It looks like it might be a swamp. No.
It kind of looks like grassland, and there's mountains behind him, too.
Yeah, it's hard to say what it is. That could be anything.
He is wearing a sensible black muscle shirt and ripped jeans, so it's interesting seeing Sabretooth in other clothing. But you want to play the clip again, David?
More ridiculous. Like this is like the biggest Sabretooth we've ever seen in this show.
Yeah, he's like the Hulk. Costume. Yeah.
He looks insane.
No! What do you say, boy? No! Come to Papa.
Whoa!
Yeah, it sounds a bit rapey. But as first he says, "This isn't my son, the great mutant hunter or whatever," and then so basically, which is hilarious that the Friends of Humanity know that this guy's father is Sabretooth, and they kick him out because of that, because his father's a famed mutant, evil mutant, who apparently is so famed that he's hiding away somewhere. But the Friends of Humanity knows where he lives enough to drop this son off on his front doorstep.
They got resources.
I guess so, but why don't they just go kill him themselves if they hate him so much?
Yeah.
No, we're going to keep him around for ironic ways to deal with his son if we have to later.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
You can do your hearts, fellas. Guess first. What are you giving this one, Dave?
He said he liked it.
I'm giving it a 9.5.
Ooh,
very good.
And the half is only missing because there's just not enough X-Men in this episode. But maybe it would have got bogged down by a whole cast of people running around looking for stuff to do. But it just would have been nice to see a few other X-Men. But I think this is like, as the later season episodes go, like after the Dark Phoenix saga ends, one of the best. It's got like all the stuff you need thematically for X-Men. It's got like the prejudice. It's got family. It's got themes of like legacy and forgiveness and blah 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 blah. I think this episode like fires on all cylinders. It's one of the best.
We've been finding this season really good, actually. It's been surprising. The Proteus saga was really good.
Oh yeah, I got in a big argument with a friend of mine who thinks that like the show really dumbed down the Proteus saga, but I think it like
I thought it was good.
it kiddied up the violence, like because it would have to. But in terms of like the storytelling, is much better in the show than it was in the comic.
It was kind of like watching that show Freakazoid. If Freakazoid was a bad guy, I was thinking about that the other day because I like that show a lot. But he's always like warping reality and being goofy. But it was like he was doing it in an evil way, which is very well. He was like a living cartoon character. Was this whole?
Well, yeah, he would warp reality because like all of a sudden there'd be like a set and video cameras and stuff.
Yeah, it's like slapstick in the Marvel universe. He's kind of like that. You know,
well, like in like episode 2, he gets tied up, but then he's able to like open the ropes like it's like a little door prop or something.
Yeah, I do love me some Freakazoid. So,
well, this one gets a 10 from me for all the reasons you stated there, Dave. It's pretty much fires on all cylinders. Nightcrawler's a bit better in it. Still not the jovial swashbuckler, but he's better.
He gets to throw hands, though. He punches people. He does stuff.
He does throw
Even Jubilee gets
really good.
Dirtier than usual.
Jubilee, good rogue stuff. It's a good episode. And Graydon Creed's hilarious in it. Great villain, and he's amazing.
Yeah, I give it a 9. I really did like it. The only reason I got a step for me is because of the religious side. 9 is pretty good, man. Come on. Dave, we don't do halves here. Dave did a 9, so it's.
I feel like I've always given a half.
I know you like to buck the system. You're a disruptor, Dave. That's what you do. You're in there messing up the status quo. And that's why we love you.
That's why he's only getting 1 shots.
There's my 9.5 review.
Big wigs at Marvel are like, we don't want this disruptor Dave messing up our system. Let's confine him to the 1-shot.
A regular series.
No, it's for all the reasons. Great episode, a lot of great action, a lot of fun stuff. Like I think Graydon Creed's a great villain in this episode. I love the ending, even it's ridiculous. I still think it's pretty great. It reminded me like an old 80s horror movie kind of ending. Like it was fun. I thought it was really, really, really good. And Nightcrawler was a blast. I'm sad that this is the last episode.
I know you got to run here in a minute, Dave.
Oh, I got like 10 minutes grace, basically. So
okay.
All right.
See if we can run out the clock.
Let's move out the X points then.
Let's go.
I don't have any, so I'm just going to sit back.
You can jump in if you want. You know, he's playing with
something.
All right, I'll go with the first one. All right, my first X point is this is the final appearance in this entire series of Sabretooth, Mystique, Nightcrawler, and Graydon Creed. We never see them again in the show.
Sabretooth or Graydon Creed? I wouldn't have guessed that.
So what a way to end this. You just assume that Graydon Creed got raped and murdered by his dad in the desert for the rest of time because we see no more follow-ups to see if he escaped or anything came of it. Although I would like to see a follow-up to this episode. It would be interesting to see if maybe...
Yeah, it seems like the Friends of Humanity are building towards something. Like they have more resources, and like I kind of thought this would get followed up on, but...
Well, maybe without Graydon Creed, we did see the Friends of Humanity group and their new shadowy leaders. So we might see more of that, but this is the last we see of all those characters. So, including Mystique, which is kind of a sad way to send her off to.
Well, I'll follow that up with, it was clearly a different voice actor doing Sabretooth. So maybe that's why they didn't bring him back anymore.
Oh, was it?
It sounded different.
It's clearly different.
Although I think he's listed in the credits as the same guy.
What?
I think so. Doesn't mean he is.
I don't believe
Don Franks. Don Franks.
Yeah, I don't think it's Don Franks.
Didn't sound like the guy that did him last time.
Normally he sounds like this, and like he's like.
It sounded close-ish, but this one made him sound more monstrous. Like they're trying to make him...
maybe he was just like trying, like the voice he normally does can't carry this kind of like quiet menace. So he was trying to find a way to. I felt like I heard like the voice that I was used to, but you're right that it is quite different. But I feel like it came from the same man.
Nightcrawler 82 is here. Good stuff, guys. Weird that it's so many characters' last appearance.
Yeah, it is very strange. I mean, I guess the 5th season's short, and it was they didn't expect to have it, so maybe that's why. But
perhaps we can ask Len Utley next week why he killed off so many X-Men characters.
They all died. They went. Their home planet needed them, and they went back.
Well, I mean, there's no question that like Graydon Creed gets tortured to death. Oh, maybe we'll find out. And
he's not getting out of that wood.
Wouldn't it be great if they like just reconnected and like we cut back to them and he's like falling back into like a sun roll and he's like playing catch with like Creed and stuff? It'd be amazing. Dad, I want to go kill the mutants.
Did you think of any yet, or back to you, Andre? Anything, Dave?
Nothing yet.
No. Okay, go back.
The trick-or-treaters that arrive at the X-Mansion at the beginning.
Yeah.
One of them is obviously Daredevil. One of them is a red dinosaur, which could be
Devil Dinosaur.
Devil Dinosaur. I mean, that might be a reach. The other is, they say, an off-brand Spider-Man, although it looks more like the Shroud or a little bit like Steel Spider or some combo.
Yeah, it is like Steel Spider.
But... Yeah, so I'm not sure if it was supposed to, if that was the nod, or it's just off-brand Spider-Man, and that tends to look like Steel Spider or not. But it was cool. Nice little drop in of some X-Men characters you don't see that often. So, or Marvel characters in a fun way.
All right. Well, my next point is we're kind of like squaring a circle here, because in our very first interview with Eric and Julia Leewald, we asked one of my rapid fire questions, I think, was about, might not have been a rapid fire, but anyway, it was about Halloween episodes, because they were talking about the Christmas one. I'm like, well, would you ever do a Halloween one? And they're like, well, we sort of did, because there's one where Wolverine wears a beast mask. So this is the one he was talking about as being the Halloween episode. Like, not really.
Halloween has very little to do with anything in this episode.
Jubilee uses trick-or-treating to get the door open. And the guy answers like so weirdly. He's like, we do not have any candy here.
We saw Omega Red before their World Mind. He's been on the show
in season 1.
And 2. Is it 2 or 3 when they do the submarine one with him?
Yeah, that's a great
he's back
one.
for a third time after that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe in Weapon X Lies and Videotape. That's coming up. We'll see.
I think that's like the Silver.
No, he wouldn't be in that one.
Yeah.
All right, am I on my third point? Am I?
Yep.
All right. There are certain episodes of the show, and as we mentioned, the animation styles that are better than others. But sometimes, like they always say, a really good show, like movie that has good cinematography, you take any little scene of it and make a photo of it, of almost any scene in the movie, like a picture and hang it on the wall. There are some really nice ones in this one, like really cinematic sort of angles and stuff, like the one where they reveal that Mystique is there, and then the light comes on above her with him in the tower above them. It's just some really cool
some like
animation
this, and like in these, like there's some, it's a lot of depth.
Yeah, no, it's some beautiful artwork in this one. That was really cool.
All right, back to me. So since you mentioned abandoning babies at churches, churches used to have anonymous baby drop-off like drawers. Basically, it's like like a big mail slot. Those ones that used to pull down. Does
the baby slide in like mail so you can't reach in and get it again?
Yeah. You'd put it in there, and then you'd close it, and then you'd spin it, which would spin it around into the room that they can see, and then you'd ring a little bell, and someone would come get it. And then
I wonder how many babies they were sending off.
Dropped off like that way? Thousands and thousands.
All right, my fourth point is this episode actually first aired on October 26th, 1996. So it actually would have been, so the fact it was Halloween was actually really on the ball for when they aired it in the episode, which I thought was kind of cool.
Very cool. All right, back to me. It's funny, you said you thought the Friends of Humanity got an upgrade and looked like, who did you say they looked like again?
KKK? They got the hoods?
No, but a less threatening reference. But anyway, I thought they looked like Cobra.
I get that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they kind of do. They sort of look like two with those hoods. The bad guy. This is a really deep cut. But did anybody ever watch the Toxic Crusaders cartoon?
Oh yeah.
The bad guy kill him off.
Had the action
similar kind of look with the hood thing that comes around and under. At one time, I can't remember what episode it was, but there's something where he was hooded. Anyway, my final point: how often in the comics are mutants born looking like mutants? Because wasn't there a point where it was supposed to be when you hit puberty, your mutant powers manifested?
Almost always. If your mutation is physical, you almost always have the physical part from birth.
Okay.
And then by and large, you get the power part in puberty. But there have been like plenty of mutants who've had their abilities right from birth, even. So
it was like Chamber born with a giant hole in his face that only started shooting out fire when
Chamber.
No, that was a puberty thing because that's
when his powers they erupted and they blew out his chest.
Yeah. So, like,
Chamber's a crazy character, man. There's some
Chambers
crazy
right here.
X-Men characters.
I have the Marvel Legend. I just got him.
Oh,
barely
sweet.
see him.
Oh, nice.
All right, I guess my final point here. Shapeshifters being hated is a theme in a lot of different genres in literature. Like certainly in Deep Space Nine on Star Trek, they don't like changelings. And in fantasy, they'll talk about changelings and how they're not to be trusted and all this thing. So it's funny. Like she makes a good point, Mystique, because that's everywhere. She's definitely been exposed to people not liking changelings, even in like literature. So you can sort of see where she's coming from a little bit. So I know you got to.
No, go on.
Go ahead.
No, you finish your thought.
Well, I was just gonna say I know you got to run, so I got a final segment for you.
Before that, I was just gonna say there's like really interesting stuff about the lives they lived, and what their coping mechanisms between Mystique and Nightcrawler in this episode. Because Mystique is really old, and she might not even have known there were other mutants when she was born blue and their powers manifested or whatever. So her coping mechanism was always to like blend in and try and be somebody else, look as normal as possible, get found out, have to move on and, go somewhere else. So it would lead to that life of like, by the time you found a mutant community, you weren't the kind of person that could be trusted. But also she sees Nightcrawler, who's like her offspring, someone who can't hide at all. And she's like, wow, he's not a miserable fuck, and I'm a miserable fuck. Like, am I just rotten to the core or something? But they love, like, Nightcrawler was raised by loving parents who didn't care that he was blue because of Jesus, I guess. So, I think this is a really great episode.
Oh, I agree. It's fantastic.
Yep. To the chase. Okay, so sometimes you see these posts on like social medias and whatnot, and they're just like like I even saw one on an X-Men group there the other day, and they're just like, give me a non-popular opinion, So let's hear cut to the chase on something here, David Cutler. What's an unpopular opinion you might have on Marvel, X-Men, life in general, even if you can't think of one?
Oh, you must have tons, Dave. We used to talk about comics for hours.
Yeah, but unpopular, I tend to like imagine that everybody agrees with me.
That's true. He does.
I kind of assume that I'm like in the majority with whatever, but it looks like the X-Men and Avengers are like burying the hatchet. Like the Uncanny Avengers are back that has mutants on the team.
Okay,
I'm not about it at all.
I'm not about that either. Yeah,
I like the Avengers and the X-Men adversarial, and it feels like a movie decision to me to be like, no, they're friends now. Not about
probably is. I'd be curious to see how much of that actually is. Like, I mean, I know the comics always, like when the Guardians movie comes out, all of the Guardians start looking like the guys in the movies, and then the storylines change around a bit to like match. That sort of stuff. So it makes me curious as to how much of that actually plays out. How much they get ahead of that.
Sometimes they seem to, because I noticed they start before that big cameo in Doctor Strange 2, they started drawing Reed Richards like Krasinski.
Yeah, I noticed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would guess that like by and large, that kind of thing trickles down from so on high that nobody that you could like go into Marvel Comics offices and meet really knows for sure. Like if something came up organically or if something is like a mandate, especially if it happens like before a movie comes out.
Well, what's funny is even like Nick Bradshaw told me way back in the day that he was at the Marvel offices and he saw a bunch of the storyboards for like Guardians of the Galaxy, and there was some stuff towards who Star-Lord's father was going to be. And he said he couldn't say who it was, but if I could guess, he would tell me, and I never guessed. But it wasn't ego, as it turned out to be. It was the thing he saw was a Jack of Hearts, who would have been an interesting, I know, which would have been an interesting sort of reveal to be like this goofy space guy. I actually always liked Jack of Hearts, but
I like that.
I never did. But did you read the most recent She-Hulk series?
No.
It's like a little romantic comedy between her and Jack of Hearts.
Oh, really?
And
cool.
It's fantastic.
Did you enjoy the She-Hulk show, Dave?
I love the She-Hulk show. I'm always like
shocked
to see it come up like so low on people's tier lists. I think it has a really lousy final episode. But
I agree. But I kind of think
cop out, but
I think they all have really lousy final episodes, except maybe for Loki and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Those are the only two where I was like, okay, you nailed that. The rest, I think, you might as well stop watching.
So good.
Before that
I rewatched it recently. Hawkeye was so good.
Oh God, I love Hawkeye.
You know what? I kind of felt that I liked it a lot too, but I felt like the inclusion of Kingpin was very like the fact that it is Vincent D'Onofrio playing King. Like Kingpin had very little to do with anything, and it was just like, look, it's Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin again, and that was the surprise that like was supposed to get you. If you looked at that character as just being a character injected into a show without knowing he was Kingpin and Daredevil before and everybody liking him before, that character would have came out of nowhere and had very little to do with anything.
Marvel stuff is like that, though. Like, imagine you never heard of Spider-Man and you went in to watch Civil War.
But there's a difference between...
No. Tony goes off and then he grabs this random teenager he's been spying on with spider powers.
Oh, that's fair, I suppose.
You just feel like, what is happening? What? And now he's not important to the movie anymore?
But, I mean, as a character, I just, like, if that was Kingpin and it wasn't Vincent D'Onofrio, that character would have came out of left field and wouldn't have had any meaning or emotion to anything or been connected at all. Like Spider-Man, I get that people would like him, but because they know Spider-Man. But the fact that it's like, I don't know. I just felt like I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad they're doing more Daredevil stuff. I love Daredevil and She-Hulk. I'm very excited to see all that happen again, whatever way Disney's going to do it. But I don't know. I really did dig the series, and I'm cool with all that. I just felt like shoehorning him in the last couple like episode was just seemed out of left field to have the stakes be that high when Echo, turns them and all that. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like they could have done that a little better, but that's a minor quibble. I did really enjoy the show.
Also, the Marvels trailer looks really good, but
it does. Yeah,
the Marvels trailer looks really good.
Yeah.
The Secret Invasion one looks cool too.
Yeah.
I'm down for all this. I'm happy with
now I do have to go. So.
All right. See you later, buddy.
All right, thanks for having me, guys. Great episode. Lots of fun. Bye.
Bye.
Looking forward to your one
see you in
shot.
season 5.
Exactly.
I don't know what episode we're going to down for season 5. We got to find something.
Actually, if his schedule allows, we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I die, you gotta tell Dave my dying wish was that he replaced me in the show.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, that's why the assassin's out. Anyway.
Wait, what?
Hey, check this out.
Hey, check this out. This is our comic reminiscences and recommendations. I'm going to make mine short and sweet because I don't have the book here because I actually gave my copy of this trade to X-Man Dan as a gift, friend of the show.
No.
So,
what a good gift giver you were.
Well, Mystique by Brian K. Vaughan, the ultimate collection. It's Mystique doing spy stuff. It's fun time. Good romp. Classic Brian K. Vaughan, classic Mystique. They're a good combo, those two, actually. So, check it out.
All right. Mine is... Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Mine is anything by Al Jaffe. Al Jaffe passed away today, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a Mad Magazine contributor. He died at the age of 102, which is quite a long life to live.
Good run.
It is a good run, but it's always sad, regardless of your age, when the time comes. But he was a massive... I mean, you can't think of Mad Magazine without thinking of what he did on Mad Magazine. So if you were into Mad in any way, I mean, Mad Magazine is kind of an interesting thing in that it's got a lot of different faucets and a lot of humor, but there's some really clever stuff mixed in with some pretty juvenile stuff. That's sort of the appeal of it. And he brought a lot of really cool stuff, and his art was iconic and 100% part of it. So I was going to grab a Mad Magazine book, but I honestly didn't even have time to grab anything. I just ran home, changed, and ran in here. So anything by Al Jaffe for Mad Magazine, check that out. Grab a Mad collection and enjoy some fun Jaffe stuff.
Some zany stuff.
Some zany Jaffeisms. I made that word up just now. Right. Patent pending.
It's patent pending. Where's the remote taking us?
Good question.
We got a new remote upstairs because we broke the TV and had to go buy a new one.
You broke your TV? What did you do?
It was on a wall mount. Tiffany pulled it off the wall.
Why did she pull it off the wall?
She was trying to tilt it. It came off.
Oh, okay.
Smashed.
Well, it could have been on there too well. Did you install this, Davan?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I want to talk to you about some home maintenance stuff here. I'll
work
bring
with
my toolkit over. I was on my
I
roof
built things
yesterday.
with rocks, God damn it!
I'll bring my toolkit over and I'll show you how to mount that correctly. Did you put it in a stud?
Well, yeah, it actually, yeah, it's like the wall mounts slipped off the screws. The screws just didn't have big enough heads, I guess.
Oh, weird. All right. Well, I'm gonna. This is El Jefe El Jaffe. Very nice. World Mind. Nice for Chris to join us. It's weird. I've been re-listening to your guys'. Oh, I was not re-listening. I'm not going through that again. But I've been listening. I listen to all your guys' podcasts.
I'm not going through that again.
I'm actually waiting for the next episode. So you guys
Tomorrow
have a
night.
convert. Is it okay? Good. And then let's do it
on the internet.
Let's do it Thursday. Oh wait, yeah, Thursday. So I want to suggest this because I didn't have time to think of something that was permeant to this, and then just because this was a revelation that happened to me when I was searching out who did the voice for Sabretooth in this episode. So Don Franks, who did the voice of Sabretooth in the show, is a Canadian actor. Has been in a lot of things, a lot of things. Heavy Metal, to Johnny Mnemonic, American Dad, Puppet to Kill, a lot of big, actually quite a bit of famous stuff. La Femme Nikita, Earth Final Conflict, Sci Factor, Relic Hunter, Traders, but even some bigger stuff too. Lie with Me, Atomic Betty. But anyway, he was in a movie that came out in the 80s and is known as being Quentin Tarantino's favorite horror movie. And me and a buddy went to the 35th anniversary of it in his favorite slasher movie, I think he said, because he probably would be more rigid on his definitions of things than the average Joe. But me and a buddy went to the 35th or 40th anniversary of it this past year. I guess it must have came out in 83, so it would make sense. 40th. It was filmed right here in Nova Scotia in Cape Breton. It's called My Bloody Valentine, and the Don Franks plays the chief in that show, who's a pretty prominent character in the movie, which is pretty cool.
It was filmed in Cape Breton.
Oh, it was filmed in City Mines. Me and a friend went to they had the guy that played the Harry Warden, the original killer, and he wore the costume of the new killer in the movie. Was there.
Tino's favorite slasher.
Yeah, I even got a poster signed by the slasher, the guy that played Harry Warden. So he says to Andre Cowper's his name, Peter Cowper. So this is Peter Cowper. And this is signed the Miner and Harry, which is his name. So that's a movie poster. So you can see
he's the assassin I hired. What a bunch of bullshit.
He didn't finish the job. So
no, he didn't. You just signed your shit and walked away.
It's actually a really cool little horror movie. It's very stylistic. It's very unique and it's very fun. And it's cool to see that it was filmed here. So in the on the screening, we got to watch the movie. They did a Q&A with him. They did a walking tour where they showed us spots where they filmed the place in the movie. It's funny because I wrestled just around the corner from there. So I've been there before, but I didn't realize that was the area. So it was really fun. It was a good time. But anyway, go check that out. It's a nice little slasher. If you want to see Don Franks play the good guy, not the mysterious, scary Sabretooth type character, you can check him out as the police chief in that movie. And he has a long history. He's been making movies and TV shows since the 50s, 1954. Wow. So he was in like Hitchcock's TV show.
Oh,
the Hitchcock.
Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah, Hitchcock Presents. He was in Wild Wild West. Like a lot of things from back in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. McCabe and Mrs. Miller. He's in the Star Wars Holiday Special. He did the voice of Boba Fett.
Funny.
Which in Boba Fett's first appearance.
The original Fetch.
He's in Heavy Metal.
Now it's time for X-Teen-Bit Gaming with Super Nintendo Skelhorn. You mentioned wrestling, and in honor of the last Trivial Debates, which was on wrestling. This is how I spent my high school.
Hanging on every word. Did you enjoy that?
It was fun. But this WrestleFest. It was an arcade game.
Classic. Look at Crush.
Years. Oh yeah, Crush was in there. I don't know. All I ever played was the Ultimate Warrior. So
here comes the axe.
Mr. Perfect on occasion. But yeah. Oh yeah,
Mr. Perfect was the man.
Game. See, the arcade was across from my high school, so we just skipped class and went and played WrestleFest. And there would always be because it was 4 controllers on WrestleFest. There'd always be 4 of us skipping class going to play WrestleFest. And man, did we play the shit out of this game. You could play the Royal Rumble, you could play tag matches. It's one of the
Look
best
at those
arcade games
colors. What
ever.
a fun game.
Oh, it was such a good game. Anyway, I'm just getting nostalgic just looking at it. WrestleFest. I feel like skipping class right now and going to play. Yeah. But I won't, because I got to finish this show here.
I do have a question for you relating to nostalgia and TV.
Yeah.
So, do you ever go down rabbit holes where you're like, be like, oh yeah, that show, and then start looking up stuff about it and kind of like remembering how much you probably watched it or parts of it, and then never really thinking maybe I should go back and revisit that show?
I do that about things all the time. If I just hear a random fact or anything that tweaks
this
my
whole
brain
show
or
is
something
probably
like
built
I have
on
to
that.
go. Yeah.
So, do you have one of those recently? That like a deep hole you've been going into and going back to rewatch one of those shows?
I mean, I do that with different Star Trek shows all the time, so that would be the most recent.
Really? Well, you keep doing that in circles. Like you've probably been doing
Yeah,
that.
I
For
know that's in circles. I have been.
How do you feel about the Star Trek animated
off
show?
the
Did
top
you
of
watch
my
that?
head. It's not very good. You mean the
Yeah.
new one, Lower Decks? It's amazing.
No, I love Lower Decks. No, the original anime series.
Oh, no, it's not good.
All right. Well, basically, the one that I just fell into a deep hole of because it's connected to a filmmaker that you and I both deeply love is Erie, Indiana.
Erie, Indiana. I remember that.
Yeah, it was like Twin Peaks for kids. It was actually a very interesting show.
Who made it?
Joe Dante was
Joe Dante
the show was producer and directed a few episodes. I think he wrote a bunch too. But yeah, anyway, it's a neat little show. It had 2 seasons. They did a spin-off show called Erie, Indiana. After the show got popular, it got canceled, and then it got popular because reruns got popular. So they brought it back and called it like The Other Dimension, and where it was a different group of kids in an alternate reality Erie, Indiana that were going through the same thing. And they kind of connected the 2 shows in the opening. In that the kids from the first one were talking to the kids from the new one through a TV set. But yeah, it was an interesting show. And like I said, it was like Twin Peaks for kids, and it dealt with some interesting concepts and kind of fun Twilight Zone stuff, including an episode where one of the kids refuses to put his clock ahead for daylight savings times, and because of that, wakes up in a pocket in behind everyone else in time. So he's all alone, and he's stuck an hour in time behind the rest of the world. So there's nobody there. He's just like in a pocket dimension where everybody else is around him, but just further ahead in time. And he has to try to figure out a way to get out of that. So like just stuff like that, which is really interesting and unique and kind of fun. So yeah, I've been just starting to get down the rabbit hole, and I got all the episodes. So I want to start watching them.
I've been thinking about old YTV shows I used to watch.
That was one of them. Well, it was Nickelodeon,
because our fellow UFP member Michael Chan has a new show on YTV. So I've been thinking about a lot of that.
Popularity Papers.
Yeah, Popularity Papers. Check that out, everybody.
And the kid from Erie, Indiana, played Stan in Matinee, and he was also the kid. He was Max in Hocus Pocus.
Oh, okay. I watched that last year. It didn't hold up as well as I remembered.
Oh, really? The original didn't?
Hocus Pocus? No, I kind of found it kind of annoying. I used to love it as a kid, though.
Oh, man. No, man. Binks is the best. That cat is money.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look who I found coming to join the party.
Glad y'all decided to join the party.
What do you think they doing up there?
What are you doing up there? Every time we do that, I think of that. Who's that Louisiana guy? James Cargill?
James Cargill, yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing up there? You want to go to
Louisiana
to buy you down?
Oh, them Republicans and them Democrats, there. Yeah, James Carville's pretty funny. He just starts giggling at himself all the time. He's ridiculous character. So we got a party like it's Foster 97. Like, I don't know how far we should take internet rumors, but rumor has it there could be a bit of a delay to 2024 on the release of season 1 of X-Men 97. So if that's so,
what was that rumor again? I phased out for a minute. I was trying to read something.
Rumors, there might be a bit of a pushback on the release of season 1 to 2024. So,
oh no! What are we going to do for a show?
Yeah, we'll just stick in something else instead. We'll figure out something. We'll figure out how long a time frame that's going to be. If there's time for Silver Surfer, maybe we do that. I guess it's a sad party. Hopefully that's not the case. It's not much of a delay if there is one, but maybe they're just trying to take the pressure off us so we can have more guests and stuff like that. So I guess we'll see how that plays out.
All I need now is for you to contact your students, Professor.
Homework, Professor.
Well, homework. I'm going to tell you your homework. It may shock and discredit you. The homework is you need to watch the next episode of the show, which is in fact.
I don't have it.
No, I got it. It's Lotus and Steel. It's a good thing I double checked because I thought it was supposed to be Weapon X Lies and Videotape, but that's the one after that one. So the next episode is Lotus and Steel.
Big Wolverine episode coming up.
It's another Wolverine episode. Wolverine. Let me see where it says. I just
Silver Samurai.
It does show the Silver Samurai. It says Wolverine losing control, quits the X-Men, and returns to rural Japan. Is the line you get to describe the episode. We see the appearance of the Silver Samurai, probably some flashback to Yuriko and his other life in Japan as well, which is fun. So, and then followed immediately by Weapon X Lies and Videotape, which is another Wolverine's Past episode. So we get two of those in a row.
Sounds like fun. And of course, next week, we look forward to our interview with Len Yulee. So, check that out. Go back, maybe watch the Iceman episode again, the other chat with him next week. Yeah, it's funny, though.
Wolverine. Also, next week is when we're having him on the show.
Cyclops quit the X-Men months ago. What am I still doing here?
So next week, the 18th, is when he's going to be in the show. Yulee is?
Yeah.
I thought we initially had that planned for the 25th, so I don't have anything planned that night.
Oh, shit.
No, it's good. I don't have anything planned that night. It's good.
Hopefully, I'm not getting that mixed up.
No. I think it's because I had a board meeting that they moved. So that's probably what happened.
Well, now I'm going to double check because you got me worried. So, what did I say? 18th.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's our show for tonight. You can support the show at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show, like our wonderful patrons that currently exist. And contact us at xmenreviewshow@gmail.com or, on Facebook or whatever, because you can find us there, YouTube, Twitch, and find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. And a lot of people find us that way. So please like, review, and subscribe. And we are a proud member of the United Federation of these podcasts. We got a lot of good stuff going on this weekend in the near future in this United Federation that we have here. We got Hold Up a Movie podcast coming tomorrow with Hackers, The Net, and Guns Akimbo with guests Kyle Hill and Andrew Chow. Two
of those
great
movies
friends
are very
of mine
close
from my
in time.
childhood. Yeah, the same year, 95.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say I didn't know it was that close, but
the internet was zeitgeist in 95. Like, people were like, ooh, look at this web crawler. And
nothing else about the internet came out between then and Guns Akimbo.
Basically not. Pretty much not. So, and also Super Mater Brothers. They're doing reality show reviews, and we do the Mary Mater Marvel Society over there. We'll be doing, we're going to have to change that poster. It's not going to want Mania anymore. It's going to be Secret Invasion. Guardians 3 might even be for Secret Invasion. They're like a month apart. I get mixed up which one's first, but I think it might be Guardians. And also on Fridays, check out KBBBL podcast. We talked about The Simpsons. Cousin Dave's going to join us this week for Dancing Homer. That's a great episode.
Dancing Homer, classic.
Oh, yeah. Trivial Debates will be one of those next month. I have no idea what it's on. Andre was on the last one, though.
It was fun.
And, of course,
I won.
Check out the Hellbound podcast with Popularity Papers' own Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn. And, I'm looking forward to you and Dave Mullins' horror podcast.
Oh, yeah, you enjoy that? We could easily do it.
That's a good idea. You should do it. It'd be a good companion to Hellbound podcast.
Okay, well, I'm quitting this one so I can go do that one.
Well, Dave me and Dave will enjoy our time over here while you and the other Dave go and do it.
Oh, you wouldn't. You'd be upset if I were to leave. Don't pretend like you would.
I don't know. Would I? Would I? I might. I might. Well, what else you got going on over there on the?
New episode just dropped last Friday. Director Dave Mullins, who is a Nova Scotia-based director, did the show the pilot TV movie pilot for a series called Turnbuckles, which I'm in, so you can get some fun stuff to find out what directing entrees like in a movie, including a funny story about when I smashed a prop glass too early. And then we get and he also worked
a funny story. How many more do we have?
Yeah, one. Oops.
No more.
I was so unsure when they handed me the glass too. I was like, should I? He's like, we're gonna do a full run now, like the rehearsal. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, smash the glass. He was like, that was really good, but don't smash anymore. So yeah, it was fun. It was good talking to Dave. We chatted about a lot of horror movies and movies in general and nerddom, fantasy, all that kind of fun stuff. How we got into directing. We have very similar life paths. He's a graphic designer as well. And, interested in acting and in directing, and a good director, really good director. And he got to direct a previous guest on my show, John Russo as well, who was in a horror movie called Reefer Beast.
Yeah, Reefer Beast.
Yeah, Curse of the Reefer Beast or something like that, which is a horror movie about, a weed plant, the creature that comes to life. We have a lot of fun talking about it, especially considering it was supposed to be a remake of Little Shop of Horrors with a weed plant, because the rights to that are free range, but apparently not in Canada. So they ran into some issues and had to retool their idea. But he also made me really want to go watch the Rick Moranis one because I've never seen it. So I will have to go do that. But yeah, I don't know who the next guest is. I'm working on that right now. If you have any suggestions, please send them out.
All right. Well, I've sent you suggestions.
You sent me one, which I do like the idea of, and I think that'd be fun to do. So we could do that. We don't get to reveal that just yet.
Did Mundo ever get back to you? I always thought he'd be a good one.
Never did.
Oh, well.
Someone did send me an idea. Who?
Did you have Nick Bradshaw on your show?
I tried. I sent him a message, and he saw it, but he didn't answer. So I don't know if he was going to get to it. Never did. And I don't really want to push him because I don't want to annoy my friends. So, same with this partner Danica, but because she does a lot of artwork as well. But I did reach out to somebody.
Sorry? It may not surprise you, but I don't mind annoying my friends.
Well, no, I know, but I don't want to be you. I've seen what it's done to our friendship, David, and I don't want to do that to others. So. It's made it stronger. Huzzah! Even though I've never seen you in person in like a decade.
Yeah, well, I'm just as handsome.
You might not even be real. I'm convinced you might be some kind of a simulation. Like maybe the real Davan died years ago, and all we get left is to say I died.
Simulation. How do you know you're not a simulation?
I don't know. Maybe it's all simulation.
Check out the most recent member of the United Federation of Podcasts, Eamon on Track, a music review show. My cousin Eamon. The first episode just dropped where him and his father, Dave Mader, reviewed the entire soundtrack of Hamilton.
How old is Eamon?
Eamon, I think it was Eamon, 18, 20.
Dave has an 18-year-old son. He does not look that old.
Yeah, Dave's my age. He had a kid when he was quite young.
I see. That's surprising.
The opposite of me having kids when I'm super old. So
90 years old.
He probably did it the smarter way. But but yeah, check that out. I'll probably be on the next episode, I think. I think the format of that show is it'll be a guest each week, and they'll bring the album that Eamon will review. And
oh wow, I would like to do that show.
There you go. So there you go, Eamon. We got you another guest here.
I'm a big music guy. And does Eamon collect records?
I think anyone his age collects records.
Lots of kids do. I have a little brother with big brothers, big sisters. He's 18. He collects records.
You had nothing to do with that, did you?
Actually, no. He fell into it on his own.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like Nightcrawler, but for collecting records. I'm like, you'll find the beauty and the love of the vinyl will enshroud you and make you forgive those who have hurt you.
Once you hear the record, you will forgive the compact disc for its flaws.
The record will reach you in my German accent is just Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
It's a great German accent.
In Bavaria, we have a saying.
You will dance the Baryshnikov.
If you like Star Trek, check out Live Long and Podcast. We got so much Star Trek content over there. Just check it out. Reviews, fun stuff, games, deep dives on smart topics. Look, everything. We get it all. And radio theater. So check that out. Lots of stuff going on over there. Locutors of Trek. We got a captain summit we're planning here soon. We're going to talk about all the captains. That's going to be fun. All right. Well, that's it for me. What about you, Andre?
I feel like that's good.
All right. Well, keep it real, everybody. And we'll catch you next time.
Next time.
You ain't saving nobody tonight, Peter. We're getting you home.